Let's do it, dude. All right, we should be good. It's exciting. Oh, wait. Yep, we're good. Okay. Let's try this one more time. So, episode 16 of the podcast. I'm Otto. That's Spoon.
Sup?
We're on
Review.
the we are on the other overlay for now because we had some issues with A, my mic being not on, and B, my internet being terrible. So hopefully things are fixed. I just reset everything from the internet side, but we're going to be talking about a couple games today. I'm going to do the very fast version of the YouTube. We're if you're interested in subscribing, please do so. If you're someone who enjoys our videos, please feel free to like them, comment, and if you're someone who's watching our content or seeing our videos and maybe not liking what you're seeing, that's fine. But just let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And just wanted to say thanks for everybody for taking some time, finding our videos and page, and just checking us out. We really appreciate that stuff. So that's the fast intro for today because we lost some time there.
Yep.
Spoon, do you want to add anything real quick before we go to news?
Nope. Yep. I think we're good. We appreciate everyone,
Yeah.
including, as I mentioned, the one person that keeps disliking our podcast
You know what?
episodes, which I just think is funny.
You know what? That person, whoever you are, we love
Keep it
you.
up.
We still love you.
We love you
We still love you.
because you're taking time out of your day
We
to
still love you for like hopping in
at
there,
least
hitting the
clicking
dislike.
on our video and clicking the dislike button.
It's admirable actually. The consistency is admirable. That's for sure. So anyway, let's go to the game news now, and this time with the microphone on. Pretty awesome. So I'll go through the talk of Artifact again before all the internet troubles and such. So Artifact was first announced and shown off at the International for Dota. Again, I think it was 2017. I honestly cannot remember exactly when, but when it was shown off, it was met with, I don't want to say universal because that's not true, but there was the majority generally did not want this to exist. They when you're at the International and you're around this Dota 2, which is a MOBA, you're kind of honed in and focused on specifically content for the MOBA. And when they announced this card game Artifact, you could hear in the video, there's videos about this, I wish I pulled it up actually now that I'm thinking about it, but there was just like, I don't think anybody in that crowd was happy about this, which is
Just groans.
oh, it was actually just loud boos. It was kind of like when
Wow.
Diablo Immortal was announced. People were kind of like
Oof.
groaning and booing. Artifact was very much the same way. They're just like, people did not want this. So it did end up releasing in November of 2018. I personally did purchase this game because I don't know. I'd seen videos of it. It seemed kind of interesting, but this game had major issues. I can just tell you my biggest issue with this game. One match took like 40 minutes. It really was one of
In
the
a
longest.
card game?
It was like one of the
That's
longest games I've ever played.
That's-
It took
that's
it.
bad.
It felt like 40 minutes. Maybe it wasn't, but it felt like the matches were so long because every round was a slog, and I did not like that at all. I mean, say what you want about like Hearthstone and like maybe Shadowverse and all those other games. Those games, the fact that they're like pretty quick in most cases, it's the reason why people play it. It's just like you
Yeah.
can get through it really, very quickly and move on. You can take like 10 to 15 minutes out of your day, get a quick game in, and go about the rest of your day with work or something. You couldn't do that with Artifact. It was absolutely a nightmare. There were a couple other issues with the game. They had this marketplace that it released with and all that. That's sort of a different conversation. What we're talking about here is Artifact has not only gone completely free to play, but further development of the game, Artifact 2.0 betas, which is what they were calling it, has completely stopped. Yeah, everything went free though. So the game is free now. It used to be $20. Every card is not provided to the players. You won't be able to buy card packs or anything. If you had paid for this game initially, your existing cards are converted into this like special collector's editions version. Um, Paid event tickets are removed. Event tickets were like, well, I think it was like Arena, if you're familiar with Hearthstone. And yeah, people who paid for the game will still earn packs on collector's edition cards. So yeah, like game is free to play currently, which frankly is what it should have been when it released. And you can still get the cards by playing. You can, you know, so it's stopped development and the game went free,
Yep.
which means this game is dead. So even with all game and the cards being free, I don't see anybody even wanting to play this. Like I played the 2.0 beta once. It it's not much of an improvement, to be honest with you. It's really just not particularly interesting. The game, there was some things that they tried, but this is not a game that was meant for, we're going to say, digital card games. They tried to make a physical card game strategy in the digital card game universe, and it doesn't really work the way you think it does. It doesn't. They like tried to make it so you could trade cards and all that. The marketplace was a major problem. Like if you had played this game day one and you had the Axe card, you could sell that card for more than the game was worth. Like you could just sell the card and recoup all your money. It was like the weirdest system. It just didn't work. Everything was fundamentally flawed with the marketplace, with the way, like the length of the games, with like how they played. There was just some real problems. So I, I'm not terribly surprised that they stopped development. I was actually surprised they even were developing a 2.0. They must have just seen, okay, nobody's playing this 2.0 beta either. And yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I never played Artifact. I'm not much of a card game player. I played Hearthstone a little bit back when it first came out, but since then I haven't played card games too much.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean everything you're saying about it sounds like it wasn't very good,
Mm-hmm.
and the business model wasn't very good, and you know they were looking into doing a Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Next type
Yep,
deal, and
they sure were.
apparently that didn't work out either. So they just killed it. So
Yeah,
another one bites the dust, I suppose.
and this is the game that was promised this massive prize pool for their competitive scene early on, and it that diminished so quickly. It was shocking. This game, their Twitter stopped tweeting about the game really fast, like shockingly fast.
The official Artifact
The
Twitter
official
stopped tweeting.
Artifact Twitter stopped tweeting like a month or two after the release of this game. It was really sad.
That's a yikes.
They like never really commented on the prize pool thing. They're like, we're gonna give $1 million worth of prize pool the first year, and that never happened. There was maybe one
Nope.
major event that happened in this game, and then never again. They never did it again. Yeah, I mean, this game died real fast. It was like Valve just didn't want to touch this thing for the longest time.
I mean, it seemed like it came out. There weren't that many people that liked it when it came out, and they were like, "Okay, I guess people
No,
don't
really,
like this." Yeah,
that's what happened.
that's it.
There's like, okay, people don't like it, we're done. And it was fast too. It was just like, we're not even going to fix the game or make it free to play. We're just, nope, we're done. They obviously they should never have made this a paid game to begin with. That marketplace was a disaster. I can't even begin to describe the disaster that was that marketplace. That was probably one of the most poorly conceived ideas in card game history. That marketplace was terrible.
So you could sell cards to other people or
Yeah,
trade
but
cards.
it was like, it just did not work. It just did not work. fundamentally. Like, at some point in time, that marketplace became obsolete. One, because no more cards were being released for the game, and two, when I say like that one card was like the cost of the game, by like a month out, everybody had all the cards, so all of your card values were in the toilet. You could buy that same card like a month or two after release for nothing. There's just like no value. So the cards, their value diminished so quickly for obvious reasons. Like there was the supply, everybody had all the supply they needed, so there was no demand. Nobody wanted a fifth axe card or whatever. That like, because there was no more cards too that kept getting released, it broke the marketplace where it was just like, what's the point of it now? Everybody had all the cards. Like, why would we do this? And then like there were some balance issues too. The balance of the game was not particularly great to start. They had like maybe a couple patches and then they just stopped, obviously, because there was no point in working on it anymore. So, yep, this game is officially dead. Even though it's free to play, I don't see anybody wanting to play it. I don't know why you'd play this game. There's no reason to.
Yep.
That's the thing. I find it interesting before I stop here. Like, I find it interesting with these games that are like, okay, we're gonna leave the servers up, but not add content to the game. Okay, well, that's. I mean, with HOTS, at least there's some content being added. It's not a lot, but there's some content. There's a couple patches here and there.
Yeah, they do like one patch every 6 months, maybe, or something like
but there's
that.
still like, you could say, okay, for every 4 months, maybe there's 4 to 6 months, there's a patch. Maybe a new character comes out. It's something. You can go back to it, and maybe there's something new, and the meta changes because of this new character or this patch. But with games like Artifact or like, I'll just drop Elder Scrolls Legends 2 in here because they stopped developing that game. There's still some content, I thought, for Elder Scrolls Legends that came out when they stopped development of it, but like, well, like what at that point, like what's the why? Why, like, I don't even know why they're gonna leave the Artifact servers up. Like, are you really like? I guess it's not gonna cost them much. I don't know, but I don't understand it. Just at this point, I hate to be this person.
Just shut it down.
Just turn off the servers. Yeah, I don't know what the cost is. I really couldn't tell you, but just turn it off. Like, nobody's playing this. I'm sorry, like nobody's playing this game. So I guess we could pull up the Steam charts for it, but I'm sorry, I cut you off before though. But did you have anything to add?
No. Like as I said, another one bites the dust. This game. Yeah, I mean, this game was dead from when it. It sounds like it was dead, but before it was, or when it was announced, basically, because people weren't into it when it was announced, and then it came out and nobody liked it, and then it was dead, and now they're just officially killing it. So,
by the way, here I just pulled up the Steam charts. It says Artifact Classic. I think I'd have to check Artifact Foundry. Yeah. Oh. Okay, Artifact Foundry was the, like, new one, I guess? That was the newest one?
yikes.
Yeah, this is a yikes, dude. Also, I can't, like, click.
I mean, there's not very many people playing this. That's the point, I think.
Yeah. There really weren't. There really wasn't. It was, like, it peaked at, I guess, 500. 500 was a peak on March 5th. But that was probably because the game went free to play. That's when they released. They gave that little thing March 4th. Game probably went free to play. And you could see, though, it's like, okay, it went free to play, and it's already down to 92. Like, I don't get it. I mean, like, I gotta be honest, just turn the servers off. But that's just me. So, okay. Let's move on to Marvel's Avengers. My favorite.
We're back.
We're back. Like, it's so interesting how we come back to this every like couple months or so. We're back. There were some changes that were announced from the developers. They put this blog post out, and there's an EXP rework in the works. And I want to read this. So I'm going to zoom in. You're welcome to read it. I'm just going to read this. The current XP curve isn't really a curve at all. In most RPGs, the amount of XP you need to level up increases as you gain levels in a curve, but our system is a straight line. This has led to pacing issues, such as skill points currently being awarded too fast, which may be confusing and overwhelming to newer players. We want each decision to invest in a skill or heroic to be more meaningful. Based on these issues, we'll be increasing the amount of XP needed to level up, starting from level 25. I'm going to give context. Apparently, when you beat the campaign of the game, you're probably around level 10 to 12, from my understanding.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, go ahead and just tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. I haven't played it, so I don't know.
I've just heard this from a couple videos and things like that. This amount will increase the closer you get to 50, so that it will take longer to reach higher levels, and will only affect character level, not power level. If you already have level 50 characters, which is the current maximum, this won't affect you. Well, no shit. If you have a character who isn't level 50 and want to speed up their progress, take this time to do so before the update on March 18th. Can I just stop right here? Wow. Just wow. This sentence right here, I'm actually just baffled that they would write this. I don't think they should have wrote this at all in here. This is the most nonsensical, brain-dead, idiotic sentence I've ever read. I told you already, like, I said this before, I'm not in the best mood because my homework took so long and it frustrated me. This is, whoever, like, I don't blame the person that wrote this because they obviously, like, you know, they obviously had some things they had to say. But whoever greenlit this, that's the most lame-brain, idiotic thought I've ever heard. It's just like, hey, if you don't have low-level characters, better take this time to do it, because we're going to screw you over soon. Wow. Just remove this sentence. You should have just deleted this. This is a really bad sentence. It's a really bad one.
I think they could have deleted the first or most of that sentence and just said, instead of saying, hey, you better level up now before we totally make it take forever, they should have just said, the update will be live on March 18th, and that's the sentence.
Let me see if I can fix this for them. There you go. I fixed it for them. Let me read it again. If you already have level 50 characters, which is the current maximum, this won't affect you. Hey, guess what? We're about to screw you over, so level up now, smiley face. There, I fixed it for you. You should have just released it with that. I would have liked it better. Okay. Due to a bug... Okay, we're gonna... Oh, okay, well, I guess this is a little bug here. I guess there's some cosmetic rework happening. That wasn't really the focus of the part that I looked at, but I'm not going to subscribe. I'll just do a quick skim through this. We'll be reworking how players obtain certain cosmetic items with the goal of providing more player agency and clarity about how to obtain them by removing randomness from the process. Currently, many of these items are only obtainable through random chance in strong boxes or in Chastity Store. We want to make sure that when you earn a cosmetic item is something you had a choice in working towards. So, disable random cosmetic drops. Let's see here. Let's see. Her store is reworked and will be purchasable with units.
Basically, what I'm getting out of this so far is that the way they designed the initial game was really fucking stupid, so they're changing it.
Like, here's the thing though, like the EXP change, I feel like, okay, so they're like their big issues from my understanding are that it's not this like curve where you're getting this exponential, you know, increase in your EXP requirements. It's more of just like, okay, you just linear progression. But they're like, if we reward skill points too fast, you're going to be confused and overwhelmed.
I mean, the reason that's done in RPGs generally is just because I mean the amount of time it takes to level up is usually about the same. Well, okay, in MMOs it takes longer
Yeah.
the higher level you
Yeah.
get, but in like general single player RPGs, you kind of level up at the same pace as you go along because even though the amount of XP it takes increases exponentially as you get to higher levels, the amount of XP that enemies give you for killing them also increases
Yeah. Sure.
exponentially. You know, like
Yeah.
in Kingdom Hearts 2, for example, the enemies you kill at the beginning of the game give you like 1 or 2, maybe 5 XP for the bigger enemies, and the ones at the end of the game give you 600.
Mm.
So for one enemy,
Right.
so I mean, there's a reason it's done this way, but you shouldn't. Yeah, yeah, this is just. You shouldn't
It's
just change your XP curve to be like, yeah, we're just gonna make it take longer. That doesn't.
it makes no sense. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't play the game, and I don't get it. But fortunately, the developers added some clarification because apparently this was too confusing. There was some added clarification from the developers. Let me continue with this wonderful Reddit post from again from a developer. More clarification and details on recently announced XP change. We wanted. I'm not going to read this whole thing, obviously. We wanted to offer more clarification and details on the recently announced XP change. We did not change XP to increase grind for. We did not change XP to increase grind for grind's sake. What you did though? Our initial blog was not comprehensive enough to convey what we were doing and why. Okay, so currently, as you get to higher levels, the XP required between levels didn't scale well, but your abilities to crush enemies certainly does speed up at higher levels, so you could end up leveling up 2 to 3 times per mission, with missions taking about 10 to 20 minutes in length. That's great, you might say. The problem we were seeing and hearing was that you would immediately get more skill points than you had time to review, apply, and get used to before embarking on your next mission and gaining your next few levels. Hopefully, you can see the issue here. I don't. I actually don't. Um, we want people to level up, in fact. We really want to see more people level up more heroes, um, but we don't want the leveling up experience to be too overwhelming or diminish exploring each skill purchase. It's We smoothed out the higher level curves to make it so you were less likely to ding more than once or twice per mission. But the end result of our tuning was meant to add 3 to 5 hours to reach the maximum level in total. This means leveling at a steadier pace or pace. This means leveling at a steadier place around 2 to 4 missions at the upper end. More powerful
That's
enemies will grant additional XP. Hopefully this clears things up. Again, I didn't read the whole thing. I was sort of skimming through it. And offers a better version or vision of what we're doing with the XP change and will work better to make things clearer when we share this sort of information.
I mean, their rationale makes sense to me at least. They don't want you leveling up 3 times every mission. They want you to be able to, when you level up, it feels like an achievement. Okay, we get a skill point, so we get to choose. And then when you play the next mission, you get to see what that skill actually does, and you get to play around with it a little bit before you level up again and get the next skill. Again, to me, their rationale makes sense. The problem is people are used to a certain thing, and I mean, you just shouldn't have designed it this way in the first place. You shouldn't have had this, and now you just make people mad because they have to grind more.
Right.
So
This is my problem. Is I don't play this game. I don't pretend to play it. I just like making fun of it right now. But for me personally, I don't know how much more content this game has really gotten besides, you know, the Kate Bishop, and I don't know how many extra missions have been added. But if you're going to make the grind be longer, you should add some more mission diversity along with it. They should maybe say, okay, we're going to make it take a little bit longer to get to these other levels. But as a bonus, we're going to add a couple more different. We're going to add some missions too, because we recognize that by adding more time to grind, it's going to get more and more monotonous to do the same missions over and over again, which is 100% true. So we're going to add like 3 or 4 extra missions to increase the diversity of the mission types, things like that. That way, you're not just saying, "Hey, we're going to increase the grind," and then just sit there and wait. Because like for me, when I hear that, I'm just thinking, okay, so you intentionally want me to play the monotonous part of your game more because you thought I was leveling up too fast before. Like it would be confusing to me if they didn't drop some extra content in there too and say, hey, here's some extra content too, to make sure that we're not just trying to make this longer for no reason. Because when I read this, it's just like I can understand some thought of, oh well, we don't want people leveling up 3 times per mission. That I could see where that could be something undesirable for maybe just like, hey, we're not able to experiment in between our levels. But then at the same time, you need to throw some extra content in there for people. Again, I don't know much about the game. Maybe they are throwing more content and I just don't know. But it just seems like they're just making the game longer for no reason at this point. So like I mean, like, this person's comment, clearly they're playing the game more than I am. There's like the lack of content was the real issue, not the leveling up. And I'm like, that's kind of what I'm alluding to, is they should throw some content in here. There was also another comment in here. I just wanted to reflect it. I did find it right here. I'll read this one and then we'll be able to discuss the whole thing. This person was saying that it doesn't make sense. The reason people were calling the game a brain dead button masher was because the depth of combat is locked to the very late stages of the character's skill tree. And after the campaign, you were at like 5 to 10. This is where I made that comment. I was seeing some things where people were saying, hey, we're not even that far in our character progression after the campaign. Why make it take longer to get to the depth where the game really opens up? So that more potential new players can come to the same conclusion as time goes on. That what he just said. Investing a bunch of skill points at once felt great because depending on whether you made the right decisions, your character would feel wildly different next mission. And if you really liked where it was going, where your character was moving towards, you could kind of like see it through until that end level, that level 50. The change just doesn't make sense. And my thoughts are, if this is true where you're like, let's say you're level 10 at the end of the campaign and you're making it longer to get to 50, but that's really where the game opens up, which I actually believe 100% for games like this. The game opens up when you get to that late stage you can actually develop your build. It doesn't open up at the very beginning when you don't really have much to work on with a build. So if this is the case, making it get longer to the actual meat and potatoes of your gameplay, that's where I don't get it. With like a JRPG, for example, like your build actually can start to develop during that early to mid section. You could start to like formulate your build early on, actually, yeah. I think, in my opinion. And like that's where I think the level grind isn't a big deal to a certain extent. Like I can formulate my plans early on to achieve that end build, because like I don't need the end game to get where I'm going.
And you're gonna, and in again a single player like a JRPG, for example, you're going to you got to play through the story, and by the time you get through the story, you're gonna, as you said, you're gonna develop your build. You're gonna get access to more mechanics, more tools, more equipment, more skills, etc., depending on the game. And you're gonna get the hang of the combat system by the end, and you're usually gonna be, I don't know, in a JRPG by the end, assuming the level cap is 100, usually you're gonna be like level. It depends, like between 60 and 80. Usually, yeah, sure. I would say. At the end of the game, you're usually not going to hit the level cap. In order to hit the level cap, you have to grind. You have to grind pretty hard usually.
Yeah.
And yeah, but in this, you go through the story and you're level 5 to 10 out of 50. That doesn't make any sense to me.
So yeah. So with that context in mind, you kind of mentioned you understand the thought process of their changes. Does your opinion change at all?
I mean, to me, that means that I still understand the thought process of their changes, but then they should probably make the lower levels not take as long, so you get more levels during the story.
Mm-hmm. That
And
would,
can
yeah.
actually get your build going during the story. Is like, okay, I'm level 5 to 10 during the story. I've got like 3 skill points. What do I do? I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, I finished the story and I just finished learning how to play the game. Like, I don't know. Like,
I
yeah,
don't,
that just to me, the bigger problem is just the lack of leveling up during the story,
Sure.
and not so much that the higher levels take longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, and at least in most RPGs, again, this is a little different. It's a looter game, so people who play a lot, they're gonna grind up and they're gonna hit that level cap. But you know, in most other RPGs, in order to hit the level cap, you have to grind quite a lot, to be honest.
Sure. Um, just to sort of add a couple more comments, and then I have a thought provoking question for you to consider. Number one, the next gen version of this game, there, there's like a potential that I think the next gen version of this game will be coming out. Oh, when is it coming out? I think it's pretty soon though. I want to say it's pretty
Yeah,
soon. I want to
they
confirm that
announced
really
it.
quick.
I don't remember
Yeah.
when though.
I'm going to confirm it right now. So they did announce it. There's like I think a free upgrade, right? It's a free upgrade. Um, March 18th. I think they said it in the freaking blog post. Wow, I'm completely blind.
Okay.
They said it in the blog
Yeah.
post because this is supposed to drop, I think, March 18th.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a week,
And next
basically a
gen's
week.
version. I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm an idiot. Um, okay, so this is dropping soon. So this is why this change. This is why people are saying, hey, potential new players are going to be coming in, which might be true. Might be true, given the next gen upgrade coming out and this new update with Clint. Here's another thought provoking question. It's not going to happen, I think, based on all this information. I don't see this happening, but I want to point it out. What happens if this game goes free to play within a month? Let's just say it goes free to play. Um, if this game goes free to play, does that change your thought process regarding the changes that they just sort of were talking about in this blog post and such, where the game being free to play maybe should elicit a longer grind because it's a free game? So, I'm just sort of speculating here. What happens if this game goes free to play? I'm not saying it does, by the way. I don't think it will.
Yeah, I don't think it will either, but I mean, if it goes free to play, then they're just gonna inundate it with microtransactions. I don't know what that'll be. Maybe it'll be an XP ticket or something. I don't know.
Something like that. I mean, cosmetics. They got the cosmetics
Yeah.
already, but something like that. I don't know. It's something interesting. I'm just curious. You know, yeah, this is a game that like could go free to play with maybe like expansions being added that are paid for, or like a season pass, which I think it has something along those lines already. Um, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this is a tough thing for the developer. I'm gonna be honest. I think they're in a bit of a pickle because it's not an easy thing to announce to your community to say, hey, we're gonna increase the amount of XP it takes you to level up, so it's gonna take longer, and people are not gonna be happy about that. They're like, what the hell? You're making us grind more? That's stupid.
Yeah,
But again, it seems like it was because of fundamental design issues with the game that should have been worked out before the game came out, and they're
right.
like, well, we made an oopsie, so we got to fix it now.
Yeah, I
But again,
yeah.
I think they should have, if they're going to do this curve, then it needs to be they said I guess it's just a linear straight line instead of an exponential.
Correct.
So in
Something like
that
that, yeah.
case, I think the lower levels should go down as well. Like the lower level should be faster and the higher
Yeah.
level should take longer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I
I,
yeah, I agree with you. I I'm thinking like what it really should be theoretically is when you finish the campaign, maybe you're around level 15 to 20 instead. That way you've developed enough of an idea of what you want towards getting to level 50. The fact that you're like 5 to 10, first of all, I mean like that campaign can't be that long if that's the case. I got to imagine that's like a 10-hour campaign tops, which I'm like already like, okay, your 10-hour campaign gives you a 1/5, not a quarter, 1/5 of the way towards your end game amount. I feel like you should maybe speed up the low end so that when you finish the campaign, you're definitely past level 15. That way, it's like okay, like I've gotten far enough where I've developed some kind of build
yeah,
identity, or at least I have some idea of what I want. But like you're level 5 to 10, like you don't know at all. I can't imagine you know at all what you want.
I I just don't. I think you should be at least halfway to the level cap before when you get to the end of the campaign. To
Yeah,
be honest,
I'd be okay with that
just
too.
based on games. I mean, again, I generally play JRPGs, and in JRPGs, assuming the level cap is 100, which it usually is, 99 or 100, which it usually is, you're usually between 60 and 80 at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the game. Um, but again, some JRPGs don't have any post game content, or if they do, you kind of you're even still going to be under leveled for it when you finish the main game, and you're going to have
Mm-hmm.
to grind up to get to
Yeah,
the post
sure.
game content. So these are things that happen. But again, being level 5 to 10 out of 50, you know, after the campaign, just I just don't. That
I don't
just
get
doesn't
it.
make any. It doesn't make any sense to
Yeah,
me.
I don't really get it. But this is definitely going to be a problem for them. I mean, this game is already in troubled waters, and to add on to this, to try and like you're gonna get you're gonna get a player base boost from new gen. You just will. But I'm kind of like we talked about this before. We're like, yeah, at some point they're gonna announce, okay, we're stopping development of this game. I
Yeah.
I could see 6 months. This new gen release, this update happens March 18th. They stay in these troubled waters. Why would you continue? You already took a loss for this game. Why would you
Yep.
continue to do it?
Yeah.
I could see 6 months down the road, assuming things don't go. I'll just say like it'll be like maybe like below average response. I could see 6 months down the road seeing a blog post something along the lines of Artifact,
Yep.
or alternatively, I see 3 months down the road this game has a blog post about going free to play. Free to play usually is like, hey, we're desperate to get players, we're going free to play. That's what I think would happen first. You just like we cut our loss already, go free to play, see if you can get an influx of players from that, fix a couple more issues, add some more content, and I don't know, maybe skirt along with like this niche player base because like you know you could do it. I think they could really go like either free to play or just like the game is almost free. It's like $10. They do that. So, any other thoughts regarding Marvel's Avengers before we move forward with other
Nope.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think in another 6 months or so, which is about a year after the game released, it's gonna be dead, or or free to play.
Uh,
Like maybe they'll do that first. I don't know.
assuming some magical update doesn't come out. That's the thought. Okay. Switching gears. Uh, we have this. Let's see. I can't remember how this got found. You'll have to let me know how this got found. This
Which
is
one
the
is this?
Twitch brand safety score.
Oh, I'm not sure if Twitch specifically announced it, but I just saw it on Twitter.
Yep. As my frames drop, by the way.
Yeah,
As my
no,
frames drop. Oh my
it's
goodness.
going.
Okay. So we've this This got when did this when did we see this? March 9th? But like
This
I
was
saw
like
this on Twitter too. Yeah.
yeah, this was like a day or two ago.
I saw this on Twitter too, and I want to hear your thoughts first. I'm not sure what to think about this. I want to hear your thoughts first.
I I mean, it's not that surprising. I mean, they're like grading your channel and then telling brands how good your channel is and if they should advertise on it. Is that the long and short of it? I
I
think.
suppose that is. It
I'm not.
says brand safety score. Let me just zoom in on this because I want to make sure that we can all see it. Twitch has added an automatic brand safety score, which will grade how brand friendly streamers are based on things like chat behavior, ban history, manual ratings by Twitch staff, games played, age, auto mod, and more. I don't like the "and more" part, by the way. This and then this is just from one particular outlet. Um, I, it's kind of interesting. I noticed this comment from somebody. It's like, hopefully it works well to promote smaller streamers like myself who,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I don't know how small of a streamer this person is, but like, it's not going to be for promoting small streamers.
No, of
Twitch,
course not.
Twitch doesn't promote small streamers. That's not what they do.
They don't give a shit about small
Yeah,
streamers at all.
I don't know why, I don't
You
know
know,
why they would think that's what it's for.
where's that? What was that chart? Did like Try post it or something?
Yeah.
That like 95+% of streamers, or was it you?
It was me, yeah.
99% of, or yeah, like 95+% of streamers have 0 to 1 viewers. Basically, if you have more than 5, you're in like the top 10% of something.
I could believe that 100%. I believe that based on what could be the actual number of streams going live, on a consistent basis.
Oh yeah,
I 100% believe that.
Again, go to the bottom of any directory, especially the large ones like League of Legends or I don't know, Hearthstone, Dota, any of the
Fortnite.
Fortnite, exactly, and just see how many streams there are that have 0 or 1 viewers, or at least less than 5.
Right.
Like
it's just like I imagine it's a massive number, and like, oh god, my internet's getting hammered, by the way, and yeah, I mean, it's just like this is clearly not meant to support small streamers. So the reason why I just pointed is because it's like this tweet said that. I'm just like thinking, oh, okay, no, that's not what it's intended for. But here's what I want to know: what is this intended for? Like, I understand it's a brand safety score; it's for brands, but like, what exactly does this mean?
Is this? Yeah, my question is this going to be like published? Are they going to tell you this? Are they gonna, or is that because I feel like they already do this, but it's just more behind the scenes. Is just this going to be like published on your channel? Like, hey, brand safety score 99%. I don't know. Whatever it is, 9 out of 10.
Brand
69 out of 100. Who knows? Like,
also, okay, this is. Yeah, brand friendly. Can I just say, I'm going to say this. I don't trust Twitch to tell me what's brand friendly. Twitch's input on things of recent has been pretty suspect, and brands are all different. Every brand is going to look at things differently. They're going to look at chats differently. They're going to have different requirements to say like, oh, this, I'm sure like what'll end up happening, assuming they've already done this, which I'm going to assume they have because maybe they have intelligence. They're going to say, okay, what is your brand? What kind of things are you looking for in a streamer? Like, some brand fills out some form, and then it does some kind of, there's some several functions in the back end saying, okay, based on what you provided us here's which streamers we find will fit your profile. That's what I imagine this is for. But the problem is I don't actually trust Twitch to do that. I really don't. And my concern is, A, this isn't going to be shared publicly with the streamer, which it should. And B, there's a couple things I'm already seeing that I don't like. Manual ratings by Twitch staff. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like having Twitch staff come in and manually rating channels and saying, I like this one and this one. Because favoritism is a thing. It is a thing. of course they're going to play favorites. That to say that they won't is incredibly ignorant. Um, I don't know what auto mod even. I don't know. I don't know why that's even in there. Um, Chat behavior. That would mean like Crip is probably one of the worst brand friendly
Yeah.
streamers then in existence.
Yeah, his chat
Or
is
like
so awful.
any like XQC. Oh, it must be unbrand friendly because those chats they're doing certain things because that's just how they've built their community. Crip's chat like there's hardly any moderation. So like that, but that's on purpose, and that's just like it's crazy. Um, I'm like already. I'm nervous about a couple fields already. I really am, because, you know, in my opinion, I think there are several streamers who have chats that aren't, you know, probably what you would say are really well moderated, but might be a good brand friendly person. They might be good for a certain brand. So this whatever this algorithm is that's determining this needs to take into account that these brands are different. A coffee brand is going to generally look for different things, different qualities than Budweiser. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
They're going to look for some
I
different things.
I think that's part of what I'm noticing that is going to be my problem with it is this sounds like a single number that they are going to give your stream, and that is your brand safety score that applies to everything. And as you said, different brands look for different things. It's not just like, oh, you know, this streamer is safe for all brands, or the safe streamer is safe for no brands because their chat is toxic, or they swear a lot on stream, or our manual ratings decided they didn't like them for whatever reason.
Yeah, Twitch staff just didn't like them. Our Twitch staff just doesn't like this person, which I could believe 100%. That there's some favoritism in the back end that's happening. I could believe that. Games played. Okay. Age. Again, age makes sense, actually. That's like probably the one that makes the most sense to me already, actually, if I'm being honest. You know, yeah, the implementation of this really matters. And
I don't see this being. I feel like this can only be a bad thing. I don't see this being a good thing in any way, unless somehow it helps promote smaller streamers.
Right.
But we know that that's not going to happen.
it is an odd thing. Like, again, you know, the goal here in many cases as well is to automate certain processes. That's the goal. And to be fair, automating some things makes sense. You do want to automate certain things, but this being automated, it definitely can be a bit concerning. I find like all these things, brand friendly streamers of all these things, age is like the one thing that makes sense. Um, but yeah, chat behavior, I get what they're trying to say with that, but that would mean Crip is not brand friendly at all. Ban history, sure, why not? I mean, but certain big streamers get banned for various different reasons. You know, it's like sometimes it's something very silly. Um, I don't like manual ratings by Twitch staff at all. Games played, I do think actually makes sense, but other stuff like it's, yeah, I don't like how this is automated. There has to be some form of brand direction to be able to say Reese's peanut butter cups wants something different than Miller Lite. That's just how it is. So I'll just say my opinion is I'm deeply concerned.
Yep, same.
And I really hope that I actually hope that this goes public on your channel. I hope there's somewhere in your analytics. Heaven forbid
your score is.
Heaven forbid your analytics is incredibly useful. Yeah. That you do get to see your brand safety score, and I hope it's an understood score. I hope it's not just like some number. I really want it to be more than just some number. It should properly define why you got this score, and it should properly define every single thing. Obviously, like for small streamers, Twitch staff isn't going to rate you. You're a small streamer, but like maybe the games you play and the age are a factor. Um, maybe
I
your
I don't see how like games you play matters. I guess unless you play a lot of like Hooney Pop or just inappropriate games
I
in
think
general.
I think if you are the type of person that plays sports games, what
Maybe.
that's going to signal to a brand is you play sports games, you're pulling a specific community when you're playing sports games like Madden or NBA or whatever. If you play League of Legends, as a League of Legends streamer, if that's only
Sure.
what you're playing, you're pulling a specific audience, I would imagine. There is some relevance there, but if you're a variety streamer, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just
It doesn't matter at
doesn't
all.
do anything.
But if you're not, like, I would imagine there are plenty of big streamers who are not variety streamers, right? Then, yeah, knowing that they play League of Legends, if my application that I want to be promoting is a League of Legends app, is relevant. 100%. If, that's why I think age in games played matters. I think age matters just because, um, there is some theory you could say based on the person's age or how they utilize their stream. They're probably pulling a specific audience based on that information, or that person being maybe an older streamer. Who knows? I think age is somewhat relevant to those things. But I think games played is more relevant. So I actually don't understand chat behavior. Like there are just some chats that are gonna not behave, but that doesn't
Yep.
mean they don't want to support the streamer when they have some kind of brand coming in and supporting them. Yeah, I don't get that at all. Any other thoughts?
No, yeah, we'll see where it goes. We'll see, as you said, if we actually get to see this and if there's a breakdown of it. I doubt it, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
doubt it. I don't think we'll see it at all. Or they'll only show it to partners. Partners would make sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Again, I would find it really hard to believe if this is already something they don't do behind the scenes.
Oh, I'm sure
Like
they do.
of course they do.
I'm sure
They have
they
to
do.
target your ads like in some way.
I'm sure they do. No, that's you're probably. I think you are right. Actually, I'm not gonna say probably. You are right. They're definitely doing it already. We just haven't been seeing it, or they haven't revealed it. At some point, somebody found this. I'm guessing through. The only way I could see this happening being found is if Twitch disclosed through their interface, their API, that this was a thing. Somebody found this hanging around there, and they're
Maybe,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
what's this?" And then they investigated. So okay, the other thing we had on the dock here. There were a couple. There were some other things I just didn't add it just yet. You had added this. Well, I'll let you talk about it. You're a fan of this series.
Yeah, so this was announced, I think yesterday actually, because it's Falcom's like 30th or 40th anniversary, something
Oh my
ridiculous.
gosh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And yeah, so they had a stream, an event, whatever. But this was one of the announcements. They're doing a Trails of Cold Steel anime. Supposed to release next year. There wasn't a lot of details on it. Just that it's being made. They said that it's going to take place in Western Zemuria. Zemuria is the name of the continent the series takes place on. The Cold Steel arc takes place in the country of Erebonia, which is in Western Zemuria. So that literally tells me nothing.
Nice.
I read another article that had a little bit more information. It sounded like it may not actually go over the story of the games, or at least it would be told from a different perspective
Mm-hmm.
from what I read. But again, there were very few details. It was hard to glean anything.
Sure.
So maybe it will just go over the story of the games from the perspective that we're used to seeing, which is Class 7 with Reen Schwarzer as the main character, or maybe we'll see the story, like, maybe it'll be the story of the games, but it'll be told from somebody else's perspective, and we'll see it from the outside looking in.
Sure.
But yeah, I think this is cool. I definitely think Trails has gained a lot more popularity with the Cold Steel series. It's still a relatively niche series, but compared to what it was before the Cold Steel arc came out, I think it's gained a lot more popularity. There was actually a Trails in the Sky anime, which is the first arc, but that was a long time ago. I haven't watched it, and I didn't hear anything about it being popular.
I see.
But I think this is cool. I will definitely watch this because I mean I love this series. They're really fun games. Again, they're very slow paced. I think you would like it if you had the patience to get to the good stuff. You would probably like it, but I'm not sure you have the patience to get to the good stuff.
I don't have the time either.
Yeah, you don't have right now. You don't have the time.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, again, they're very slow-paced games, but they are really good. The world building and the characters is really good, and we'll see what they can do with an anime format. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think it's cool. And maybe for some people who haven't played the games, maybe they'll watch the anime and get interested in the games and then play the games. So
yeah.
I'm excited for that, for more people to possibly be introduced to the series in this manner.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean that definitely is a thing where the show just might be really good, and then people say, "Huh, maybe I should check out the game." Particularly, I don't know if it's relevant to the game's story, then maybe I don't know if that's like better or worse, but just like the existence of it, maybe if it's it's like even if it's just like a good show, it doesn't have to be excellent, then it could pique some new interest. So that's always good. That's always good to get more folks to check things out and yeah, especially when there are some games that are just they're niche, more exposure's good. The developers just like there's less awareness, but they do a good job. Like of course you want to promote that kind of stuff.
And I do think this, as I said, this series has some of the best character development and world building I've seen in just about any series. So this has the potential to be really good if they do the storytelling and the characters and the world building as well, or at least close to as well as they do in the games in the anime. Then it should be good, and
sure.
It should be a good introduction for a lot of people who haven't checked out the series yet. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, 2022 premiere is what I see in this article. So.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they've just kind of started production of this thing, so it's not anywhere close. I would guess probably like fall next year. We're a ways. We're at least a year, if not a year and a half off from this. So.
That would make sense. Okay. I had a couple other things I'm seeing in the doc. One was the Pyra Mythra Smash presentation. The other one was the Tales of Arise trailer. I will put the trailer on the screen, but I'm gonna be real with you. After watching this, I thought this was a pretty big nothing burger.
The Tales of Arise thing.
Yes, I put the Tales of Arise currently up here.
Oh yeah.
I just my opinion. I could be wrong, but this was a big nothing burger for me.
No, this was also a big nothing burger for me. This was the first time we've heard the English voices for the game, but that was the only new thing we've seen. We haven't seen anything. I know we've talked about it before, but we haven't seen anything from this game in at least 6 months.
Right.
And the last thing we heard about this game was that they were delaying it until whenever. But the last time we actually saw a trailer for this game, I want to say was like E3 2019.
Okay.
So, or maybe Tokyo Game Show 2019. So it's been like a year and a half since we've seen anything from this game. And they pretty much showed the same thing in this trailer that we had seen before, just with English voice acting. And they said they would tell us more in the spring.
Cool. Which I'm like, but isn't it kind of already spring? It's almost there already.
We got about 10 days until spring officially starts.
Yeah.
But spring also goes for 3 months, so it could be next week or in a couple of weeks, or it could be not till the end of June.
Sure.
So
I just love that. I was just like, further news in spring, and the first thing I think of is like, it's kind of already spring, like almost, I suppose, but like, okay, that's kind of vague. Yeah, I mean, this was for me. I like. I mean, like, if this was actually in engine in game graphics, I thought it looked pretty nice. So that
yeah,
was the one thing I
this is a
noticed.
huge. I mean, they're using Unreal now as opposed to whatever they were
Yeah,
using before, which I think was their which was their own engine. And yeah, this game looks like a significant graphics upgrade from the last Tales game, which was Berseria.
yeah,
The Berseria was running on the same engine that they had been using for quite a while, and doesn't look very good for a PS4 game. I mean, it looks fine. It's an anime game. It's got a style, but
yeah. But it's not like, are we going
no.
to put it on the high end? You know what I mean?
Is Berseria impressive graphically? Absolutely not.
You,
Absolutely not.
sure,
It looks
sure.
fine. It looks fine. It look bad, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
So I did notice they're using Unreal Engine here. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully when there's further news in spring, there'll be an actual release, at least a release window, if anything. Like even not a definitive date, just like fall 2022 or.
I am hopeful after this announcement that we are gonna get info in the spring. Obviously, we're gonna get info in the spring, but if that's maybe it's E3, maybe it's actually E3 because E3 is technically in the spring. It's at the end of spring. It's in mid-June usually. And I'm hoping we will get a fall release for this game at that point. I'm hopeful. I'm, maybe stupidly hopeful, but
maybe it'd be nice. It'd just be nice to get a window about it, like, right?
I mean, originally this game, when they announced it originally back in 2019, they said the game was going to come out in 2020, which was last year. Ooh. So this got heavy delayed, and I don't know why. Maybe they got hit by COVID harder than other studios. Maybe they're spending too much time on mobile trash with Christoria.
Sure. I doubt it though. I'm sure Christoria is it really made by the same group or is it somebody else?
It's probably a different team. I'm sure it's a different team.
So,
but
still,
I guess I was just glad to see that this wasn't like vaporware, that it still exists. They're still working on it, and it is going to come out hopefully this year.
Yep. No, I agree. It's like it's nice to know that it's just like, okay, we're still here kind of thing. It's like we're still here.
But it has been over 4 years at this point since the last mainline Tales game came out, which was Berseria. Berseria came out in January of 2017.
Yeah,
so
it's been a while.
It's been over 4 years.
But part of that could have been just because they were implementing a new engine. There's some education, of course.
Yeah, new engine, I think, is a lot of it. But
so yeah, I think it's I think it's interesting. I do want to mention something. I don't know if this is going to happen, but I do want to mention it. Berseria was on Steam, correct?
Yep.
Okay. If you're using the Unreal Engine, is there a probability that this comes to the Epic Game Store?
I mean, it says PC Digital there at the bottom, so that means it'll probably be on both Steam and Epic, to be honest.
I don't think there's any Tales games on Epic.
Not yet. No, I don't think so.
So just an interesting thought. Just because you're using the Unreal Engine, of course. So, okay. I didn't watch the Pyra Mythra Smash presentation. I had already mentioned. I don't really.
Yeah, you don't play Smash.
I don't play Smash. I don't
really play Smash anymore either. I do own Ultimate. I did play it when it came out. I played Joker when he came out. And
I will pull up the this though.
I mean, yeah, it's long. But I mean, yeah, it was the typical. He goes through the stage, he goes through the character, he shows the music, the spirits, all the stuff that they're adding with the new patch. I'll just say that we talked about it before. I'm glad Xenoblade 2 got their character in the game. I think they look really cool. I've watched some videos from actual Smash players who say they're actually borderline busted. Pyra Mythra, so
okay.
Yeah, apparently they're really OP on release, so they'll probably get nerfed, but they'll be really good for at least a bit. I mean, I like the way I think they did good service to the character. The moveset seems cool. Swapping between them makes sense. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I'm glad they're in the game, and yeah, they seem fun to play if you're a
Mhm.
Smash player. And I'm sorry if you're salty that another anime sword fighter got in the game, but
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of anime sword fighters, but you know what?
yeah, there are.
That's just, this also Xenoblade is I I want to say a pretty, I don't want to say really popular, but it is a, I would say a pretty, it's got
Got a
it's got some,
following.
it's got a following, it's got fans, and
I mean, I think Xenoblade 2 has sold, I want to say between a million and 5 million copies at this point, which is it's pretty good.
yeah, it would be
It's
interesting
not a
to confirm
blowout,
that.
but
I will actually look that up. Sales. Maybe they've actually really. So according to this, this was from 2020. Is now biggest selling game, 1.5 million copies.
yeah, for a JRPG, that's really good sales, to be
Hmm.
honest. Especially a Switch exclusive
Yeah,
JRPG.
Switch
Also,
exclusive JRPG. Yeah,
Switch exclusive JRPG.
that's good. That is good.
It's not
So
on any. Yeah, it's not on PS4. It's not on Steam. It just
sure.
Switch.
Yeah, no, there. It's just like, yeah. So anyway, um, the yeah, like I said, I don't really play Smash anymore, but I mean, if you're a Xenoblade fan and you happen to like Smash, perfect, good. That's awesome. But I mean, I will say the stage looks really good. I like the stage. I do think the character models for Smash look really good.
I
I
think they did a
noticed
good
that
job.
the outfits changed because I
Yeah,
just obvious reasons.
they
Um,
they covered them up a little bit more.
they sure did.
They put tights on both of them or leggings,
They put leggings on both of them, and
and they covered up Mythra's cleavage on the top part of her outfit.
oh, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did. I will say I do like I do like the leggings on Mythra.
yeah. I think
Uh,
the black leggings look really good on Mythra.
I do
Actually,
actually think they look really good.
yeah,
So, um, but yeah, I think it's again, if you're a fan of Xenoblade and you happen to also be a fan of Smash, this should be really fun for you. It sounds like the characters are good, so that's a bonus, right? And it's just nice that your series gets some love for Smash in particular.
yep.
So that's I don't know. I have nothing else to really add to
And,
that.
and and Xenoblade 2 music in Smash, which
That's
Xenoblade
nice.
2
Yeah,
has good
it
music.
has good music. That's true. That is very true. Okay, let me hop back over to this screen so I can drop all my different links here. Okie dokie. So, let me hop over here with this. We've got about, I would say, 15 minutes before I have to run to class. Unfortunately, the podcast is shorter than normal just because of all the issues at the start. So, which do you want to do? East thoughts or do you want the Xenoblade thoughts from me? I'll let you choose.
Well, I was about to say up to you because
Oh, man. Okay, I get to choose? Okay, good. We're hearing from me.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'll
I've
do
been
my
talking.
Xenoblade thoughts.
I've been doing a lot of thoughts the last couple episodes, so yeah,
I'll do my Xenoblade thoughts because
let's do you.
I won't take the 15 minutes. I'll try and limit it to about between 5 to 10. So the last time I gave an update was before I finished chapter 4. I was in chapter 4 and then chapter 4 I will admit was probably my least, you know, exciting chapter, not because of the characters in the story. I actually thought the characters in the story was just funny. Uh, I
Yeah,
I I
Tora
I,
art.
I do appreciate kind of like um that silly sequence. I can see how people didn't like it. I really do. I can see some folks not liking it because this doesn't have as much relevance to the story and it's not as serious. But again, I think I said this a long time ago. I think when a story gets too serious, it's just boring. It's like, you can't tell me that it has to be a very specific circumstance where everything has to be serious for me. Uh, like theoretically, the story would have to be like literally for the entire game, the world is ending, so we can't have any fun. But like that not isn't necessarily the case here. Like, we don't know if the world is ending or not. We just have this goal of going to the big tree, right? And it just so happens that we keep running into the same, the same folks here, the Torna group, whatever it's called.
Yep, the Torna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Torna.
Torna, this group, and Malos, and
Yep, Jin and Malos.
the recently fought
Patroka and
Petroka and
Mikhail, I
Mikhail. Yeah,
think.
Mikhail. That's right. So Petroka and Mikhail was a recent boss fight. Again, pretty challenging boss fight, but not like horrible by any stretch. Like, it was
Te-
unfair.
Teammates standing in the fire a little too much.
Yeah, I
But
mean, like, I'll mention that real in a sec, for a bit, but I liked certain parts of chapter 4. I did enjoy the story. I thought it was like kind of silly. It was nice to like see Tora with his family and get the new Poppy upgrade and new. I guess we're gonna call it the new Poppy Blade character, Poppy Cutie, which is just funny.
yep, Poppy
Um,
QT.
yeah, QT. And I didn't really like that they removed Tora from the party for that brief period, even if it was for story reasons. I thought it was a really bad idea. I I really it was like an actual struggle to get through some fights, which
Yeah,
was obviously like kind of dumb because circling back to the gotcha system in the game, because I didn't really have any good tank blades for Rex to be able to sustain all this damage. I kind of just got rolled, which isn't fun, obviously. So there's a lot of things happening that sort of circle back to some fundamental issues that I've mentioned. The gotcha system in this game really is not very good. It's not. It truly is. If I like, I feel like I get past it and I'm like, oh, the gotcha system. You know what? Now that I've gotten a couple good pulls, I'm
yep,
okay. But
yep,
then it like the game like brings me back to it and says, nope.
yep.
Remember this? You didn't get
You
a
get
good roll.
you get a situation like that where you have some fights you can't get through because you didn't get good pulls, or you get to field skill checks and you're like, God damn it,
The field skill checks, now that I'm leveling up the affinity charts, are not a
Avenger.
problem anymore. But
Yeah,
and I won't say that's a problem. I do think it's a problem that I have to grind this affinity chart so much to get through certain things, but not. I do think the the gotcha system in this game is like the fact that
it's the
it keeps returning is why.
it's the fundamental issue with the one
Yeah,
fundamental issue with the game is
I
the gotcha.
I think I mentioned it before. I'm like, yeah, you know what? This gotcha system is actually bringing my rating of this game down. And I think I don't remember if it was your brother now. It was like, I don't really agree with that. No, I'm gonna override your opinion on that one because the fact that I keep returning back to this issue of the gotcha system, I'm bringing it down. This game could be for me like a 9.5 out of 10. It could be, but it's not. This gotcha system actually brings the game down for me.
Yeah,
I
it's hurting your enjoyment of
It
the game,
is.
like
And I'm
fundamentally.
like,
And every time it comes up and you think about it, you're like, yeah, this sucks. It's
yeah,
stupid.
it doesn't make sense. I think so far the story, I actually do think the pacing is, it's like kind of wonky that like everything seems to be dropped at the end of the chapter all the time, or at the very beginning of the chapter, and the middle
Yep.
is just sort of like we got to get to
Yeah.
the next story drop.
Hmm.
But it's pretty well paced, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it is. Um, I think the characters are good. Obviously my Lord and Savior Tora is great, and I think even Rex, like for his ridiculousness and his sometimes his stupidity, he's okay. He's like the this. I think he's more of just like the standard.
Yeah.
I'm the I'm the MC of the
Yeah.
story. I've got you know I'm pretty optimistic about things. I'm like I'm gonna show some courage. I'm gonna help out Pyra for various different reasons. I think Pyra and Mythra right now, I'm gonna be honest, I hope they get better. I think they're okay right now. I just like the only things I know about them are they're Pyra and Mythra together are the Aegis. They're like this split personality that's happening. Like they're two sides of this coin, and they both have their personality, their own quirks, their personality traits. And but like right now, I'm not really getting enough from them where I'm like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
super interesting. You're just
Py-
like, there's currently there. They're
Pyra and
currently there.
Mythra have some very deep-seated issues that they haven't gotten into yet. I mean, you probably didn't notice because it was pretty subtle, but in some of the cutscenes in Leftheria, when you're in Fonset, when they're talking to Corinne, I think her name is, like, Rex's, I don't know, foster mother or
Yeah. Yes.
whatever. Um, they say a few things that, again, if you know where it's going, it's pretty easy to see. But if you don't know where it's going, it's good foreshadowing. But again, if you don't know where it's going,
Well, I
you're
don't know
not
where it's
really gonna
going.
notice it. But I think that, like, I was watching you play that part the last time you streamed, and I was like, okay, that actually makes sense why they said that and why they were talking about that right
I
there.
don't remember what they said actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. No, I don't even
I don't.
remember what they said.
I can't like go into it and explain it without spoiling stuff, so I'm not
Okay.
going to.
Well, whatever they said, which was clearly enough to elicit my interest. They said something. She said something particularly. I'm sure that you know I just like completely forgot. It's been a while. So, but the point is, I'm they're sort of there for me. They're sort of there. I like. I mean, Nia's kind of. I like her relationship with Rex. They kind of like banter at each other a little bit once in a while. It's nice. It's kind of like nice. Um, Tora's still my all star
Yep.
character. He's just so fun, and everybody else is pretty standard, but Tora's just like kind of super unique. Do I still use my book? Good question. I haven't done a chapter update in the book in a while, but I do have it still. It's somewhere in a different room. Okay, I want to go back to my train of thought. But once I got past chapter 4, this Leftheria chapter, I'll just call it for now. Um, you walked through to get to Rex's town. I will admit certain enemy mechanics were not fun to deal with. Not to say that enemy mechanics can't ever be not fun, but when you lock off your character's healing ability, even for like a couple seconds, that's like doom. That's like doom for my guys
That
because there's just like that's a lot. That's a main part of how I deal with these fights is I'm constantly healing to replenish and sustain these fights. So when you remove that from my strategy, from my tactics, it's not even just about, oh, I have to reshift the way I do combat. It's like, no, it's just I have no mitigation for this. Once you remove my healing factors, that's it. There's no mitigation for me. And it doesn't seem like I don't know. I haven't tested if it's like, oh, if I'm a certain distance away, I avoid it. I would test that,
there
but
there is a way to stop that from happening, but it's one of those things that's kind of buried in the battle system that most people when they play the first time don't get or understand.
well, how do you do
And
it?
so when you finish a blade combo, so for each element on that chart that shows up when you're doing a blade combo in the top right,
Mm-hmm.
it says like seal something, like seal shackle driver, seal shackle blade, seal this, seal that. There's gonna be one, and I don't know what element's on or what tree it's on, but it's gonna be like seal the heal stopping thing. I don't remember what it was called. But if you do that, he won't be able to stop your healing. But
Wow.
again, you, I didn't do that, and I remember this unique monster that you were fighting that had that thing. Yeah, that guy beat my ass
Yeah,
up and down
I
the
don't.
place when I played the game the first
I
time.
don't even know if I see that stuff at times too. But in any case, um, it's okay. So you can't mitigate it. It's just like very specific, which isn't great either.
Yeah. The
Um,
other option is once that happens, just use your chain attack and hope you kill him. Because if you don't kill him, if you
oh yeah,
don't
you're
kill him,
dead. You're dead.
you're gonna die anyways. But if you don't do it and try to kill him, you're dead anyways because you
Yeah, sure.
can't heal. So
Yeah,
might as well just try and dunk him with the
yeah,
chain
sure.
attack and see what
I guess if
happens.
he's like low enough too, he starts to do that more often. But
Yeah, he
the
did it at like half health though,
yeah,
so I'm not
but
sure you want to be able to
yeah, but
dunk him.
the point is like that. Frankly, that mechanic shouldn't exist. I'm sorry, that shouldn't exist. It's just like it's like even the mitigation for it is so specific to remove it. It's not just like, yeah, throw a Panacea bottle. There you go, you're done. It's it's so specific, and it's like, oh well, if my next goal is to just roll the dice on a chain attack, that's probably not a good system then. I'm not super enthralled with like, oh, I just have to rely on RNG to get through the fight. That doesn't sound like an enticing prospect to me. I suppose if I set it up a certain way, I could probably get it to work. But the point is, I don't like that mechanic. It's just like, yeah, you don't get to heal for a while. It's like, well, okay, but even 3 seconds of not healing is like death, because that's kind of how I get through all my fights. Is I'm constantly replenishing everything. So that area was not particularly exciting. My guess is I'll have to go back when I'm super over leveled and just deal with it later. But
I mean, that was just a unique monster. You don't have to kill that guy.
no,
I mean,
other monsters of his type do that.
oh really?
They'll kind of do
Okay.
that. Yeah, I think they do. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, he like him doing that also was him doing that of course was a nuisance. Um but yeah, the I will say that when I got to the town and then after that I sort of did some affinity grinding. You know, everything's all good. I won't also say it's a negative, but man, I'm doing a ton of non-story grinding, and if I don't know what to put on the ratio for it, but I think like the last couple streams, I probably did story for like maybe an hour or so, and then the other hour was grinding the affinity chart, possibly
Side
doing a
quests.
side quest, but mostly like doing an affinity chart. And the thing is, I consider that required material, because if you don't level it up, you're significantly lowering your ability to just not just do damage, but effectively traverse the world. So the affinity chart goes from being like a side activity where, you know, for some parts of the affinity chart you can just playing the game will clear some of those quests. It goes from that to, okay, I got to step out of my way every hour or so to go do this and then come back while also having side quests. It's like a lot of stuff to deal with. I haven't decided if it's bad or not, but you can't ignore it. You can't ignore this affinity chart, which is it's obvious that that's the case, but it's also just like certain cases the affinity chart you got to go really out of your way to complete it. The Ursula one was out of this world dumb.
I mean, yeah, that one
Out of
is
this world stupid.
notorious for being really bad.
Out of this
There are
world stupid.
there are a few blade quests and affinity charts with some of the unique blades that are just notorious for being just god
And
awful.
what's his name? Rock's is stupid
Oh,
too.
the
Oh,
merc mission thing. Yeah,
oh,
most people dump rock because of that.
it's
Yeah,
so dumb. Which in you know what, that by itself right there is a problem. It's like I'm gonna dump him because of the affinity chart. Wow, that sucks. It's like, because I don't think Rock is actually that bad. I really don't. I actually think he does okay in most cases for me, and he actually hits a lot of combos for me. He kind of fits in well when I go into combat. He hits a lot of those combos
yeah.
that I need. But
And he has smash.
I mean, a smash, which is kind of nice actually. But when like your players are like, yeah, I don't use Rock. Why? Well, his affinity chart. Like,
Yeah, you just can't level him up because you
wow,
got to grind merc missions all
wow.
day to do that
Like
thing.
if as a dev that didn't just signal maybe we should change that, you got some problems. So I'm gonna say like certain affinity charts, there are some problems. Is it bad? Like, do I think it's a part of why the game is like worse? No, but it's like if your players are like, yeah, I didn't use Rock because of one of his affinity chart things. It's like, what? Wow, that's dumb. Like, because I don't think Rock is really horrible, but oh well. Um, but yeah, now that I've gotten, you know, I've gotten to the point where we fought Zeke again. Who he's a funny character too. I like Zeke, and I like that they revealed him to be this like prince actually, and
Prince of
he
Tandol.
is like testing you. He's like, oh, I'm testing you. I'm testing you.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. That's a legitimate reason for him to keep
yeah.
creeping on us.
He went from being an entire meme to only being half a meme.
Yeah, he's like having me, but still, like, okay, I like it. It works pretty well, and he's fun. He's comic relief. Like I enjoy that in the story. It adds some flavor to it as opposed to just being like we're super serious all the time. I, that just bores me because it's just like there's no life to your characters if they're all serious. So I do think it's, you know, I do really enjoy Xenoblade as we're almost close to time. I think it's I still think it's fun. I do think this game has problems.
It has.
Um, I think the music's good. I'm being kind of a stickler about the graphics. Man, I really wish this wasn't on the Switch, but the graphics of this game, textures are not good. Character models are good. Textures are bad. These textures
Yep.
are just, ugh, I hate it.
And that
I, I,
that is a Switch. That is a Switch problem.
I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I really do, but it's just like sometimes I look at this game. I'm like, you know what? This should not be on the Switch. This should not be on the Switch. I wish it wasn't. I I will I will I will give this game a very strong so far because I don't know how close I am to the end of chapter 5. I can't really say off the top of my head. I'm sure I'm like halfway through it at this point. Um, which I don't even know if I'm halfway through the game. Also, I'm sure I'm not. Um,
mm,
I'm like 30 hours in almost.
I mean, possible. I mean,
I don't know.
there's 10 chapters. Some of the like 8, 9, and 10 are all like very linear. You just kind of go. I mean, you can still go off and do side
Right?
quests and stuff, but you just kind of walk forward. You go through the
Yeah, sure. But still,
dungeons that exist, and you do a lot of cutscenes.
but still,
Um,
you you still
yeah,
have to go out of your way to do the affinity chart stuff. You still have to do some other stuff to like keeping up with the level hasn't been a problem at all. That's just not a
no,
problem.
yeah.
But it's I'm trying to think of a number to give it, and I'm like the gotcha system is already bringing this game down. That's my reality. You know, if it's not for other people that have played it, that's fine. I do think the gotcha system does add some level of replayability, but I also think it's poorly implemented. Um, this is one of the. It's shocking to me to say this. As as a game with a gotcha system, this is the most poorly implemented I've ever played.
I
It's amazing how I think this is one of the worst I've ever seen in my
I
life.
think
It's
there's a
so
way
bad.
they could have made it work like better than it does. The biggest thing for me is just once you pull a blade, don't make me pull a blade on a specific character.
Yeah,
Allow me to pull a blade and put it on the character I want to put it on
right,
instead of having to use the overdrive protocol to like switch it, which is a limited resource by the
right.
way. So
Yeah, no,
I think
it's
that's one of the
stupid.
biggest things they could do that's just a very simple change that would alleviate at least some of the issues with the
It
gacha
would.
system.
It would. It definitely would. And if it was that, I wouldn't complain. But it's not. So this is yeah, this is the worst gotcha system I've ever seen in a game, which is crazy
And
because it shouldn't
Genshin's
be.
rates are fucking awful, by the
Genshin's rates are
way.
bad, but you know, it's not as bad as this. I can't believe I'm saying this. Like I'm not just saying that because I like playing Genshin Impact. This is horrible. I feel like my pull rates have been worse on Xenoblade, and it's just like crazy to me. I'm like, I'm not going to complain because you know Xenoblade. I don't, you know, Genshin. You basically are paying for pulls to a certain extent, but um, you get a lot of core crystals in this game, so I can't complain too much. But it's just like the amount of garbage I've pulled. It's staggering. Um, I do think the textures for the world are pretty poor. I am going to account for that. I think the character models are good though. I think the actual places you go to are pretty cool. So that's going to kind of counteract some of my texture issues because I think the actual
The world is
titans
cool.
and
The
the worlds are
environments. Yeah.
it's interesting. It really is interesting to look at. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's a bunch of like land masses connected by these little bridges, and you go under this like tunnel with like it's almost like you're going under the ocean tunnel. It's very cool. It was very cool. The characters right now are pretty good. I don't really have any complaints actually about any characters. I don't have a single complaint about any character. I think all the characters are fine, if anything. And combat's good. Combat's very good. I think combat is very good. I really do enjoy it. It's done. It's implemented really well. I don't really, besides the whole like stupid no fun, no healing thing. I think so far it like works really well, and when you actually get the combat, like you can put together some very good combinations. So that's like that's very cool to recognize and figure those things out and make things work. So with that in mind, because I do not like the textures particularly well, and but I'm a stickler for that, I guess, and I don't like this gotcha system. I'm gonna give it a 9 so far. I think it's good. I think it's very good. But if this gacha system was fixed, it would be better. If the textures weren't Switch textures, I'd like it more. I'm going to give it a 9. The story is okay so far, obviously. I think it's like, the more information I get, the better it could be. But so far, it's like, I'm not falling asleep. So
That's good.
That's a good sign. I'm not falling asleep while I'm watching a cutscene. If I was falling asleep during a cutscene, I would not like this game. Or if I was just like bored out of my mind watching cutscenes, I would not like it.
Yeah.
There are definitely some, like, I'm not gonna say JRPGs, but there are just some games where I'm watching a cutscene like, I just don't care. Yeah, I just don't care. I think at a certain point, KH got to me that way. KH3 did, because I'm just like, yeah, this is just like, there's just so much shit happening. Whatever.
And also like the story in the Disney worlds is a waste of time.
It's such a waste. It's just like, okay, whatever.
Most part in Kingdom
It's
Hearts,
like whatever. Let's just get to the end where we see Kingdom Hearts is light or something. But yeah, I would say Xenoblade's like a very strong 9. It's good. It really is.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I was expecting you to. I think I was thinking you were going to say 8.5, so I'm a little surprised by 9, I'm going to be honest.
I'm not going to hurt the game that much for the textures in the gacha system. If anything, I gave it basically like a 0.5 for each. I said, okay, this gacha system, though, it is kind of fundamental to how the game works in a certain way. I'll drop it 0.5 there. I'll drop it 0.5 for the textures, because I do not like these textures. I'm sorry. I'm being snobby. I didn't like him in Dragon Age either. I did not think that the textures... That's why I didn't give that game like a 10 or something. Dragon Age's textures and graphics were absolutely like... bleh.
Yep.
Just like throw up on a screen. But...
All right.
So yeah, it does, it's a part of the game. If the game is not pleasing to look at in certain ways, I'm not going to probably enjoy it as much.
Yeah. Well... I know we won't be. I know you've been really busy this week, so we won't. And you're going out of town this weekend, so we won't be seeing any Xenoblade this week. But hopefully, next week and beyond, we'll have more time for Xenoblade streams.
I will try. I will do my best. I'm already like I'm making great progress on all my work and stuff. So the next Tuesday could be a thing. Let's cross our fingers for that, because like my homework, I'm feeling good about it after fixing all the issues. So.
Also, I know this is a stream game, but you're kind of at a story part right now. So, but I don't think anyone's gonna blame you too much if you want to play a little bit off stream. Sometimes if you have some time, other times, and you want to play a little bit off stream.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna.
If I do anything off stream, it'll be the grinding stuff. It'll be like the side quests and like the affinity chart stuff. That's what I would do. Anything related to actually progressing the story, I'm not doing off stream, just because I've already done most of it on stream anyway. So
fair enough.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I just haven't had time. I literally spent, since I woke up to go to sleep, all that time I spent working on homework and stuff. Literally nothing else was in there. That was the reality of it. But let's do our closing really fast so I can get out of here and go to class and try and relax a little bit and hope that the class is short today. So just be sure to keep supporting us. If you enjoy our content, be sure to show some love, like the videos, comment on them. If you don't like them, just don't like them. Whatever, it is what it is.
Follow the Twitch channel,
please. We appreciate all that stuff. And please check out our Twitter and stuff. If we send out updates on there. Usually, if I do stream like Xenoblade or something, I tweet it out. I don't really do a lot of like other ways to message out those things. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about for the channel. Spin, anything else?
Rainbow Six tomorrow, right?
Rainbow Six tomorrow, yes. The group should be on. I'll confirm it after this. Before I start class, I will confirm that. They'll be back. They'll be back and stronger than ever.
Good.
For that. They actually have a sub now. I wonder if the substitute will be playing. They have a substitute on the team. So tomorrow, Rainbow Six will be on. If not, I'll confirm that and tweet it or something.
Okay.
And yeah, that'll be it. Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
Yep. Have a good night.